the great thing about the Dunmurry Today Project is it was very much so a journey, and a journey I think for everyone involved. It was a journey through, well, what do we think about Dunmurry? How could we show what we think about Dunmurry? Using photography, using the camera. What are the stories that we want to tell about it? But it was a journey as well for Rebecca and Jill, their journey was all about, how do I be a facilitator? How do I work with a group? How do I inspire them? How do I plan an idea? How do I get it from the start to the middle to the end? And when we seen that for all of us, it was about learning, because the project was about trying something different. Even in terms of, yes, we've been working in communities for 20 years now, but the great thing about this project was, this is something different for us. This is something new and a new way of working, because what we were doing was we were really pushing the boundaries of putting a photographer into the community, and not just one photographer, but in this project with 4 completely different photographers, with 4 completely different concepts, ideas, ways of being a photographer. And it was, how do we put all of that together and then create a journey that has an artistic output, but also has an output for the community itself, has an output for the participants. Whether that's about developing their confidence, developing their social skills, developing their personal skills. That has an output for the community, that's about, giving the community a voice, particularly giving maybe the groups in the community that don't always have a voice, and for all of us, going on that journey was really important, but also learning from that journey was really important. Developing that journey as we took the steps was really important. We didn't always know where the end was going to be, and it was finding out what that might be, to us, was the most exciting part of doing this project. So when it came to now deciding, well, what should the project be? What do we want to show about the project? For us then, having a polished exhibition at the end wasn't what we wanted to show. What we wanted to show was the journey and give a feeling of the journey. So hopefully we've achieved that with our exhibition in the exchange space. It starts to allow people to come and see, well, this is what we did. This is what we've been doing over the past month. In a way, this is what we've been doing over the past 12 months, because this project, yes, the main bit of the delivery happened over August, but the planning of it and the development of it and the ideas behind it were a much more longer term partnership between ourselves and Dunmurry.
I'm Kelly Devlin, and I've been given a hand with the project, and I've taken pictures around Dunmurry and see how it's changed since from 50, 60 years ago till the present day.
I'm Betty Blair of the 123 Pensioners Club, and we've been doing this project, and I think it's very valuable, because we are of an age group that have lovely memories of Dunmurry, and they're being lost, and it's nice to record our impressions of how Dunmurry has changed over the years, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've really enjoyed having Kelly along, because she's of a younger generation. I have a memory of this. I can remember this when it was just a field, and the farmers used to cut the hay here and make haystacks. Not the way they bind the hay up now, it was haystack. When we were kids, we used to come here, there's school holidays and play here, and we used to go potato gathering. There was a farm over the railway lines called Duff Gibson's farm. I never ever picked potatoes there, but I did up Dunmurry Lane where the golf club is now. We used to go up there, and then we used to get 8 shillings a day, and then come into the Dunmurry, and there was a cafe where the Progressive Building Society is now, and we thought we were quite sophisticated, drinking coffee. That was my first introduction to drinking coffee, because you always drank tea at home. And then we would have spent our whole 8 shillings on cups of coffee and fish and chips or pasty suppers, you know.
So
Nothing's changed.
the important thing for us in terms of our Paul Hamlin project is what we wanted to do was change how we worked in communities and transform how we worked in communities. And when we evaluated and looked at how we'd done that in the past, the weakness I suppose we'd identified was that it was so short term. It was in and out. It was maybe 4 weeks here, 6 weeks there, 10 weeks there. And what wasn't happening was that real infrastructure development that we felt was important for us to develop. We therefore decided that with our Paul Hamlin projects, what we wanted to do was develop long-term partnerships with communities. You know, so that what we were doing was coming in and maybe over 6, 9, 12 months, we were working within a community. And therefore allowing that community to get a real grounding and development in photography, but also inspiring them by photography, you know, letting them see how photography can be used, could be used within their community, you know, to do some of their, more community development aims, you know, whether that's about giving people a voice within community, whether that's about developing the community's confidence, whether that's about developing the confidence of the people that they work with within the community, whether that's about using photography to tell a story about their community or make a point that they think is important, you know, that they want to communicate to the leaders of their community. But to do that and to do it effectively and to do it in a way that was going to have a huge impact for us, this long-term sustainability was, from our point of view, how we wanted to work now, how we wanted to change the way we worked. That would allow us as well that, you know, after 6, 9 months, you know, would have built up not just a desire for photography and a set of skills of photography within the community, but also set up something that would last beyond when we would then maybe move on. And this, Dunmurry has been the first place where we've tried to pilot this, and you know, it's been a really interesting journey. It's been a hard journey because it's something we had never done before. You know, it's something they had never done before. So in many ways you were learning from your mistakes. In many ways it was, let's not do it that way. You know, that was the wrong thing to do. Or actually, we thought that would take us 2 weeks to do, and it's taken us, you know, 3 months to actually put this in place. You know, but that's what this journey's all been about. It's about discovery. It's about how can we create a long-term partnership. Why should we create a long-term partnership? What do we want from that? What does the community want from that? You know, how do we ensure that it is a partnership as well? And a partnership at every level, you know, that people feel that they can be part of. And I think, you know, over the past 12 months working in Dunmurry, you know, as I say, it's had its really, really big high points. It's had its really big low points as well. You know, it's had times when it felt like this is just not going to work. And then it's had times where it felt like, you know, this is it. This is exactly what we wanted. This is how we can see the future for Belfast Exposed. This is how we can see us transforming the community elements of what we do, transforming how we interact with our communities, and transforming how our communities view us and how they work with us and how they want to work with us. So it's been a really exciting time, and the amount of learning that's come out of it, you know, I can't wait now to as well take that learning and go, right, that worked in Dunmurry, let's try that somewhere else, you know, and also from those mistakes, like, remember, don't do this, you know, but you know, having that freedom and that space to actually try those things has been invaluable for us all over the past 12 months, you know. one of the most important elements of this project has been the almost ongoing evaluation of it, you know, and it's that ongoing evaluation that's allowed us to move and shape the project as it's went, but also to create for ourselves what we think now is a really strong model of work that we've called the pod, that we feel, right, this is how we can create long-term partnerships in communities. As we come to the end of Dunmurry here as well, you know, we still have to look back and reflect what we've really learned and make sure that we take those lessons and use them as we start to take on our new journey, which will be up in Newton Abbey, which is the new area that we've identified that we feel this is where we'd like to go and work next, and take all of that learning with us. And also, you know, take with us some of that learning, as I say, is the what not to do as much as it is what do we want to do. We've also been really lucky that we've been able to have, alongside our own internal evaluations, an external evaluator who has also looked at the project and came along with us and bounced in at the different points, and been able to help us reflect, think, look, and also have the bravery or the confidence to change the project as that needed to happen. Do you know? And you know, it's not very often you get a project that allows you that flexibility and that freedom, and also that amount of space to actually reflect, change. You know, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do this. It's something completely different. You know, having the flexibility to actually do something that's really completely different has been invaluable, you know, as part of the Paul Hamlin process.